They say nothing good comes from staying awake after 3 a.m. I say nothing good comes from overthinking at any hour. And I do that often, which leads me to more unanswered questions that I ever thought possible. Will anyone have definitive answers to the questions I'm about to pose? I doubt it. I'm simply sharing thoughts and dilemmas that surface when I'm locked inside my own mind. Consider this food for thought or philosophical musings for when you're bored. If you tend to overthink too, maybe this video isn't for you, because chances are you'll feel even more anxious by the end. That's all I wanted to say. Let's dive into some of my reflections. Since childhood, we're usually assigned a purpose, which is divided into stages: middle school, junior high, high school, and eventually college. One of my clearest memories is the day I enrolled in middle school. I remember the smell of the humid morning air, the way the sun lit up the schoolyard and buildings. It felt different. I had attended daycare the year before, so I already had a basic understanding of what school meant, but this felt unfamiliar. I had many expectations and they mostly fell into place. Different subjects, textbooks, and a wide variety of classmates. During lunch breaks, when all the classes mingled, I felt small for the first time. I had always been around adults, so I knew I was short, but standing next to a 12-year-old at age 6 made me feel minuscule. It was like being handed the biggest shoes imaginable and being told that I would grow into them. I didn't grasp the concept of progressing through grades. I couldn't see that far ahead. Transitioning from daycare to middle school felt like a breeze, but reaching the final grade of it felt like a lifetime. Each year dragged on. With a child, time seems frozen. Even now, I remember every year vividly because I was always waiting for it to end. I was a good student, had friends, but like most kids, school felt like a chore. Studying daily, doing homework, preparing for tests, those were the highlights. It consumed a lot of time, and even though progress felt slow, it did eventually pass. Then came the upper grades, puberty, and the slow shaping of identity. Those years were the most anxiety-inducing. Everything difficult about middle school intensified. More classes, more responsibilities, maybe even hobbies to fill the time. Simultaneously, you're expected to choose a career path, often through specialized courses. The goal becomes finishing school and either attending college, following a family career tradition, or venturing into something entirely new without further academic certification. It's strange. Just as you begin to discover who you are while still young and hopefully shielded from life's harsher realities, you're expected to make a decision that could define your future. It's a lot to handle, but for better or worse, we'll go along with it. In my case, I chose university, so let's explore that path. During the last year of high school, you take targeted classes, study intensely, and every setback feels monumental. But you push through because the finish line starts to appear. After years of effort, the big day arrives. You've made it. Whether you've succeeded depends on your exam results. I won't say I was lucky. I gave 150% and expected a good outcome. But so did others, and they were prepared. Yet, one unexpected question or a wave of anxiety can skew results that don't reflect your true effort. If that happens, I want to say it's not the end of the world, even if it feels like it. I have friends who failed, but tried again and reached their goals the second time. Others pursued different paths and ended up happier. If you didn't get into your desired university and your country allows you to try, I genuinely wish you the best. University itself felt strange. After years of hard work, I expected some kind of reward. Instead, it felt like school, just with longer lectures, endless assignments, and group projects that reveal not everyone pulls their weight even as adults. While pursuing our passions, many of us became more burnt out than ever. I certainly did. That's when I noticed the toll of years of intense studying. In school, I could memorize entire pages, punctuation included. It was exhausting but satisfying. In university, I couldn't do it anymore. I had to write everything down just to focus. The textbooks were massive and the material felt endless. In school, I studied even subjects I disliked. In university, even topics I found fascinating couldn't spark motivation. Thankfully, some courses allowed independent research instead of final exams, and I always chose that when possible. Eventually, I graduated, but many classmates faced a dilemma. Even after all that effort, they realized it wasn't what they truly wanted. That's when I saw something I hadn't before. Life isn't linear. Let me explain. As a child, you start school early. You progress through levels, and if you pursue academics, university is the final step. Those years feel endless. You make choices that supposedly shape your future. You aim to finish school, then decide what's next. If you follow an academic path, you might pursue a bachelor's, a master's, even a PhD. Then you look for a job. I once googled how many people work in the field they studied. The general percentage was 50% or less. That's not inherently bad. I sincerely hope people follow their passions even if they differ from their academic background and find success, but increasingly, people struggle to find jobs in their chosen fields. That's a big discussion that I don't wish to start now, simply because it consists of a ton of parameters that I don't think I can probably go through in a video format. My question is, do people actually work in roles that make them happy, or do they just go through the motions because life moves too fast? Because once you finish studying and start working, time accelerates. Those 12 years in school, they fly by in adulthood. I used to hear older people say that, and I brushed it off as old people talk. But it's true, and it's scary. Trying to do what makes you happy while juggling adult responsibilities can be overwhelming. And eventually, everything you thought you had under control as a child can resurface in unexpected ways. Anxiety is one of the most common, so you have that to manage too. Life doesn't ask if you're ready, it just throws things at you and you have to juggle them. This might sound negative or underwhelming. Maybe it is, but as I said earlier, I hope people can pursue careers that bring them joy legally, of course. I can't believe I have to clarify that, but better safe than sorry. I've seen many startups focused on handmade items, jewelry, home decor, and the people behind them seem genuinely fulfilled. Even as hobbies, these outlets can relieve stress from daily routines. And of course, seeking guidance from a certified professional during tough times can be incredibly helpful when facing challenges beyond our capacity. I think what I'm trying to say is, being an adult sometimes means reaching a point where you feel a little lost. Living a fully fulfilled life is tough, especially these days when uncertainty seems to fill every corner of our routines. But finding purpose through the people closest to you and taking care of yourself, especially your mental health, can make all the difference. Making big decisions at a young age doesn't always carve out the path you'll want to following, and if the opportunity arises, you can change direction even after years of feeling stuck in a loop that doesn't bring you joy. The thing is, most of us don't really know what we're doing, which is kind of strange. When I was younger, I always imagined that grown-ups had all the answers. They knew why the sky is blue and why I couldn't eat that piece of cake that fell on the ground. Come on, it was only for 2 seconds. Surely they knew everything and could guide anyone through life's everyday struggles. Turns out, navigating daily problems and making choices that shape our future is way difficult than I expected. And failing, especially when you've tried so hard to succeed, can be incredibly disheartening. But the truth is, when you attempt something, failure is one of the 2 possible outcomes. And honestly, you get to know yourself better through failure. Taking a few steps back helps you see what went wrong and how to fix it. Like I said, life isn't linear. When we're young, it's easier to manage when it's presented as a straight path with clear goals. That path can change, of course, but the structure is usually there. Finding a passion helps a lot. Spending time with people who matter to you, discovering hobbies that bring you joy, those things are a great escape and a real boost to our happiness. I'm not trying to lecture anyone. I just wanted to share some thoughts that come up when my mind decides to go on one of its deep dives, analyzing parts of life I hadn't really paid much attention to before. I haven't uncovered anything revolutionary, and I'm not trying to give anyone more reasons to overthink. I'm just a 3D figure on the internet with a tendency to overanalyze, and maybe, just maybe, sharing a few of those thoughts might resonate with someone out there. If you've stuck around this long, thank you. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and ring that bell so you'll be notified when new videos go up. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Bye!